Okay, so we're going to talk about amphibians today. All animals can be sorted into groups: mammals, fish, birds, reptiles, amphibians, insects, or spiders. Today we're going to talk about amphibians. Amphibians can live in many different habitats on Earth, but need to be near fresh water, lakes, ponds, marshes, rainforests, forests, and streams. So pretty much anywhere except the ocean, because that's the salt water. They live on every continent except on Antarctica. They do not like the cold. Too cold for them. Some amphibians are very small, and some amphibians can grow very large. The largest amphibian is a Chinese water salamander. That guy's kind of scary. Amphibians have several things in common. Amphibians are covered in a moist or wet, smooth skin. So, frogs, they have a bit of moisture on them. Some amphibians produce slime, so they can keep their skin moist. This helps them breathe, because adults breathe through their lungs and their skin. So that's the slime on them, the moisture. Amphibians are oviparous and lay eggs underwater. So amphibians lay eggs like lots of other animals, like some birds, reptiles, and they put their eggs in the water. So they produce a lot of eggs as well. You can see those are all eggs. After they hatch, amphibians live the first part of their life in water. They are born with fins and gills to breathe and swim underwater. So that's a little tadpole right there. You can see them in the water. As amphibians mature or get older, their bodies go through a metamorphosis or a change. They grow lungs and feet, and their gills and fins disappear. So they go out of the water, and they get lungs and feet so they can go on the land. And they get rid of their gills and fins, which will make them more like fish for the water. After they have lungs and feet, amphibians live the second part of their life on land. But they need to live near water so they can lay eggs in the water later. So although they live on the land, they still want to stay by the ponds and lakes and other types of water so they can have their babies. Amphibians are cold-blooded and become colder or hotter depending on the temperature of their environment. So that helps them. Okay, so now we want to see what you know about amphibians. I know about amphibians. Okay. So amphibians live where it is wet or dry. Which one do you think it is? Do they live in wet places or dry places? Think we're going to go with wet here? Oops. So wet. Now our next one is they are covered in fur, hair, scales, or moist skin. Do they have fur? I don't think they have fur. Hair? Do they have hair like you? Maybe. Scales like a snake, or moist skin? Which one do you think? So, moist skin was when they have the slime on them to help them cool off, right? So it's wet skin. So I think we're going to go with moist skin or wet skin with the slime on them. Yep. Okay, next one. Amphibians breathe air through lungs or gills when they're young? So which one do you think? So when they're in the water, the little tadpoles, do they have lungs or gills? Just when they're young. Just think for a second. When they're young in the water, do they have lungs or gills? I think they have gills. Like, remember fish have gills and people have lungs. So we're gonna go gills. And next we're gonna see, do they have lungs or gills when they're older? So once they're like a frog and they're out on the land, do they have lungs or gills? Okay. I think they have lungs. Once they get out of the water, they get rid of those gills and get some lungs. Okay, good job there. Amphibians go through a big change. Look the same as a baby and adult. So which one? Do they change a lot or do they just stay the same their whole life? When a baby frog is born, is it immediately a frog? Or is there a stage in between? So, do they go through a big change? Or do they look the same as a baby and adult? I think we're gonna go through a big change. Because if you remember, they start in the water and the little tadpoles, and then they get on the land as the adult frogs. We can circle that one here. Next, they lay eggs or they have live births. So, we can even see in the picture, they have a ton of eggs next to them. When a frog lays its eggs, it has a lot of them. So, I think they lay their eggs. Amphibians all lay eggs like reptiles. But us mammals, almost all of them give live birth. Okay? Amphibians can swim like penguins and ducks, frogs and toads, or alligators and turtles. So, well, if we remember correctly, I believe frogs and toads are types of amphibians. So, I think it's gonna be they swim like frogs and toads, because penguins and ducks, what are they? What type of animals are they? Birds. And then alligators and turtles, they're reptiles. So we're gonna go frogs and toads here. Frogs and toads. Next. Oh, this big guy. Do you remember him? Amphibians can fly or cannot fly. Can this guy fly? He's in the water. Do you think he can fly or not? I don't see any wings on him. I think we're gonna go with cannot fly. Poor guy. He's not a bird. He's an amphibian. Okay, amphibians cannot fly. Okay. Oops. Amphibian. Whoa, what happened here? Amphibians are small like mice, newts, or snakes. Ooh. So, do you think mice are amphibians? Do you think a little mouse is an amphibian? No. And what's a snake? A snake's a reptile with its scales. And the mice have fur. and hair. So what do newts have? They have the moist skin. They're the amphibians, right? They're like the little frogs. They're kind of like lizards, kind of, but they're newts. Amphibians. So we're gonna go newts. Amphibians have the moist skin. You can see in the picture this little guy right here. Kind of looks like a little lizard, but he's in the water area. Okay. Ooh. Amphibians can live in our house, like frogs, rabbits, snakes. So if you were to have a pet amphibian, which one would be the amphibian? The frog? Ribbit, ribbit. The bunny? The rabbit? You see the Easter bunny? Or the snake? Slither, slither. I think we're gonna go with frogs. That's probably the most famous type of amphibian. You can see he's on that little lily pad there. Frogs. Here he is. Ribbit, ribbit. Okay. Now we have to see. I am not a mammal, or I am not an amphibian. So which one are you not? Are you an amphibian? I don't think so. So I don't think you are an amphibian. So we can circle. I am not an amphibian. People are mammals. Okay, so good job, friends. Now I want to see what you know about amphibians. So for this worksheet, I want you to pull it out. And you're going to see all these animals here. And I want you to color them in, cut them out, and place them if you think they're an amphibian. Yes or no. So you got to put the ones that you think are amphibians on the yes column on the left. And the ones that you think are not amphibians, like mammals or birds or reptiles, on the no column. Okay, so thank you, friends, and I wish you good luck.